Decisions. What could go wrong, eh? Oh yeah, that's right. Everything! Don't you just love the existential dread of knowing you can ruin everything pure and good in the world with a simple press of a button?
Well, we do, and we're back at it again with a whole load of video game choices that made us well and truly hate ourselves. That's the power of good design though, really, since all these titles sucked us into their lovely immersive worlds and then whispered oh so sweetly in our ears, "Go on, you're free, make some choices, do whatever you like." And then doing whatever you like results in beloved characters dying horrifically or your entire playthrough taking a hard left turn into bad ending territory. Speaking of which, you should expect endgame spoilers for every single entry. Check the list in the description if you want to skip anything.
Honestly, this whole thing just makes me feel like being in control is overrated. I'm just going to use some dice and live my life RPG style. Ah, this is already working much better. These say Dave has to play Outlast 2.
Wait, what? No, it doesn't. Outlast 2! No, Ash, it does not! It doesn't say that! It doesn't say that!
Look sweet Mordin in the eye and think about his fate, cursed space adventurers. We're all monsters. We do not deserve this precious scientist Solarian.
Of course, I'm talking about the genophage conundrum coming to a head in Mass Effect 3's Priority to Chunka. After 3 games worth of suffering for Krogan kind as their numbers dwindle through genetic interference to stop them reproducing, a cure becomes a possibility at the end of the trilogy. And in true Mass Effect fashion, it's up to you to decide whether you actually administer it or fool the Krogan into believing they're saved.
I've said it before and I will say it again. Renegade on the streets, Paragon in the ship. So there's no way I was letting my Krogan buddies down on this one.
But the decision to simply watch the full Renegade playthrough, not even do it myself, brought me such distress that I hated myself by proxy. Such is the power of this evil.
Not your decision, not your work, not your cure. Had to be me.
Dear Watcher, Mordin wants nothing more than to right the wrongs of the genophage, and will sacrifice himself to make sure that happens. That means if you went full badass and lied to the Krogan, he will figure you out, and he will challenge you to the point you are forced to shoot him in the back as he attempts to save a planet on the brink of extinction, and then watch his maimed body reach out for justice before dying terribly on the dirty, horrible floor.
Not yet. Not yet.
Sit and think about what you've done if you even so much as entertained the thought of this possibility. Monsters.
My next entry is proof that getting exactly what you want doesn't always feel as good as you'd hoped. This is a lesson skillfully imparted by the wonderful Oxenfree. Sequel coming soon, excitement levels currently interdimensional, which is a game about small choices which add up to big ones. It's just a beautiful little object. Woozy synths soundtracking the threshold of adulthood adventures of a group of funny, bored, bereaved kids who stumble into a mystery framed by analog radio signals, number stations, and old military secrets. Somebody made my game. That game I wanted. Thank you. The small choices I mentioned relate to the game's brilliant dialogue system, an organic, overlapping conversation mechanic that sounds like real people talking, but also gives you constant control and input. And from those tiny decisions, eventually come big ones. Will you encourage 2 friends to get together, or keep them apart? Will you save Clarissa even though she's being really mean, or not do that? And, the one we're here to talk about, will you use the game's radio time loops to bring your dead brother Michael back to life? Like Ash's trouble with life is strange, there is no good answer here. During the game, protagonist Alex is both mourning the loss of her older brother Michael, but also getting to know her new stepbrother, Jonas. From flashbacks, or actually time travel, we know Michael is the nicest older brother to ever exist. So once I realised I could save him, it felt like I absolutely should. Every relationship in the game is coloured by his loss, so why not just fix it? And don't say something about pain being part of what makes us human. Because pain is a part of what makes us human. Oh, yeah, it really is. And while the game doesn't do any judging, it does make it clear that changing the past has its own cost. Despite initial impressions, Jonas too is a good guy, and the trophy you get for making friends with him instead of saving Michael, New Beginnings, has a simple description that somehow sums up all the loss, pain, imperfection and potential that, the game tells us, is what makes life life. Jonas is your new stepbrother. Except not in my game he's not, and I kinda hate myself for it.
Mom?
Jonas, wait!
A decision I hate myself for wasn't even a decision I made myself. It was a decision I made with my buddy Liam when we played A Way Out. And we decided to just see who wins. For those of you who haven't played A Way Out, you're probably thinking, who wins? You mean playing those fun minigames together, right? Like Connect 4. Right?
And I won. I'm the master. You clearly cheated.
Sadly, not quite. After everything you've gone through, being 2 prisoners escaping jail, bonding the entire time, after everything, you discover that one of you has been unintentionally lying and is actually a cop. Vincent being the cop and Leo being the criminal he's after. The result? An endgame shootout where only one of you can survive. Liam and I talked for ages about who we felt should live, not only because we both got really attached to our roles, I was Vincent and he was Leo, but because we knew both characters had something to live for. Family. We decided to just see how it goes. You know, shoot some bullets at each other, be a bit sneaky, bash buttons desperately for our lives. It will be fine, and we will accept our outcome. I lost. Only just, but I admit that I, Vincent, died. And I hate myself for it. I hated myself because I felt responsible for the grief of Vincent's family. If I'd won, Vincent might have been able to heal their damaged relationship, rather than Leo giving Carol Vincent's last words. We played both endings and both are incredibly sad, but still, I feel so responsible for what happened. Actually, maybe I should just blame Liam. That works, right? Liam, it's your fault this happened to Vincent and Leo, not mine.
Give my letter to Carol.
I had a good think about what to talk about for this entry. You know, I've made some questionable video game decisions over the years. Just ask all those NPCs I murdered. But then I realised this is a video about decisions we regret. And I would 100% tow cars off the top of Mount Chiliad all over again. There is one thing I've done in a game, however, that I absolutely would never do again, because it made me feel just wrong inside. And it's something I did early on in my latest playthrough of Skyrim. I joined the Stormcloaks. Now, hey, wait a minute, you're probably shouting. What's wrong with joining the Stormcloaks? Well, I'll tell you. Firstly, I just always join the Imperials. All 7 previous times I've played Skyrim, I've been an Imperial, just like I've always been a Wood Elf, stealth archer called Rhaegarys Targaryen. By now it's less a role-playing decision and more just who I am. But for some reason, on this latest playthrough, I sided with the Stormcloaks. You know, the Imperials are far from perfect, they're in thrall to the evil Thalmor, and they've stopped the Nords from living freely in their homeland. So yeah, I thought, this time I'll fight for Skyrim's liberation. Or so I thought. Turns out the Stormcloaks are even worse. A petty band of Nord extremists whose manifesto basically reads, Skyrim is for the Nords and everyone else can go away. I just found myself disagreeing with pretty much everything they stood for, so there I was at Fort Sungard, a wood elf winning the Civil War for a bunch of people who'd quite like my character to go back where I came from once everything was done. Never again, Stormcloaks. Never again.
Look, right, I know it's wrong to shoot people right in their face. I do, I promise. But I did think I was being Detroit's best detective by doing so.
Sometimes you have to crack a few eggs to make an omelette. Sometimes you have to get your hands dirty for a clean outcome. Sometimes you have to blow a hole through someone's head to learn their secrets.
Except, no, not that latter one. At least this time.
As the game builds to an intense climax, you're presented with a choice by the android inventor Elijah Kamsky. You can shoot his beautiful lady android and he'll give you key information on Connor's investigation into rogue deviants, or you can leave and miss out on the goods. It's a key choice in discerning if Connor develops into a ruthless Blade Runner or breaks free from his programming to save his people.
So you can probably guess what I did here, and oh boy, was it a mistake.
Being a blue-blooded murderer disappoints everyone, including the man that just handed you a gun and told you to shoot his android. Seriously, Elijah? And doesn't even secure you the information. You have to ask the tricksy jerk the right question. And you get it anyway without any murdering by simply being a good detective later on in the evidence room, which is what I thought this option was.
Having to stare at the other Chloe's face in the menu was the guilt trip I did not need. Don't look at me, Chloe. Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Okay, my next entry is about The Witcher 3, and get this, it's not even about that bit where you decide if you're going to cook a baby. It shouldn't really come as a surprise that The Witcher is full of difficult, damned if you do decision making. It's very much baked into the universe. One of Andrei Sapkowski's original short stories is called The Lesser Evil, and if you're wondering how that turned out, it explains how Geralt got the nickname The Butcher of Blaviken. Every choice in The Witcher seems to come with some unpleasant consequences, and maybe none more so than the one you make in the quest, The Whispering Hillock. What did you call me? I said Hillock, but the basics are that there's a village in Velen which regularly donates children to a trio of evil, powerful witches called the Crones of Crookback Bog. And in exchange for information about Ciri, the Crones ask Geralt to kill a weird spirit that lives under a tree on a small hill.
You must know the Crones pretty well.
They are Velen's curse. They hear all through 7 years.
The spirit gives off substantial bad vibes, but promises to save the children held hostage by the Crones if, instead of killing it, you perform a ritual to set it free. It's really important, before I tell you my decision, to stress just how evil the Crones are. They are horrible. They trick people into indefinite servitude. They make villagers cut off their ears as payment and then string them up in the forest as magical listening devices. And the children we're talking about, they eat them. So yeah, I freed the spirit, okay? And the spirit turned out to be the greater evil. Literally the mother of the witches, an ancient, terrorising force that, yes, does free the children, but then immediately murders everyone in their village and goes on to terrorise that part of the countryside forever. Sometimes, people, you've just got to let the kids become a snack.
You did what? Freed the evil so it can prowl the world as it will.
Did what had to be done.
And if it returns?
Ask the ladies of the wood to help.
When a game gives you time to make a decision, I'm someone who can be fretting over that choice for a good 10 minutes. But in Ghost of Tsushima, big endgame spoiler warnings coming up by the way, this decision felt like it lasted for an eternity. After you fight your uncle, Lord Shimura, to the death, I spent so long looking at Jin staring down at him, amongst beautiful red maple leaves and the setting sun. It's a gorgeous setting, so I wasn't complaining, but inside I was full on debating with myself over why both options would be fulfilling. Lord Shimura is an incredibly honourable samurai who wishes for a warrior's death. We love and respect him and we should give him his honour. But we are the ghost, we don't care about honour, and we love our uncle father figure Lord Shimura. He doesn't need to die. And after much deliberation, I decided to spare Lord Shimura. My reasoning being that Jin is fully the ghost at this point, so I felt that it was more suitable for his character to screw honour and prioritise the life of his family. Which he does.
I have no honor. But I will not kill my family.
I'm still content with my choice, but then again, I hate myself because I made my uncle really sad and did the worst thing possible to him. Dishonoured him. Lord Shimura, I didn't want to dishonour you, but I also didn't want to kill you. And I'm I'm so sorry, Lord Shimmerer. I love you very much. Please don't hate me.
And there you have a dark insight into the decisions that haunt our dreams. Deep. What missteps did you make in games that you're still guilt-tripping on? Let us know in the comments below. You've been watching PlayStation Access. Don't forget to subscribe for more PlayStation goodness. Like the video if you liked the video, and come back for more very soon. Thanks for watching.
PlayStation